KUAM TV 8, your home for Super Bowl 56. KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust, serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson, celebrating 25 years of commitment to Guam, Micronesia, and the CNMI. Cars Plus Hyundai, home of the Kona electric vehicle, an electric heart with an SUV soul. Test drive yours today at Cars Plus. McDonald's of Guam, I'm Loving It, and King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Ahead on prime time, during the weekly public health media briefing, doctors confirm the island is experiencing its fourth COVID surge. Plus, the former chair of the Physicians Advisory Group says action needs to be taken now to control the COVID spread. And appearing in court today, the couple accused of murdering the former mayor of Humatak, Daniel Sanchez.
Hafa good evening, everyone. Guahusi Isaiah Uggan, and thank you for tuning in. COVID numbers continue to soar. At today's public health press briefing, DPHSS officials gave a breakdown on why COVID cases continue to spike. KUAM's Daniel Perez has tonight's top story.
It's official. Guam is experiencing a fourth COVID surge, according to public health officials. Territorial epidemiologist Dr. Ann Pobutsky shared a month's worth of data on the current rise in cases.
Early part of December, we didn't really see much until right after Christmas, and there's our cases jumping into all the way into early January.
The age group leading this current surge continues to be those in the 18 to 39 range. Dr. Pobutsky also spoke on system onset, which is the time when symptoms start, usually after 2 to 14 days after exposure to COVID.
Now, if you look at the epi curve by symptom onset, we actually see that it starts right around the shopping season, right after Christmas, and then it really bumps up after New Year's.
Hospital cases have also gone up, though not as bad as the past COVID surges.
We have seen an uptick in hospitalizations, but we're really not seeing a huge bump in the ICU or in deaths, which is good. The previous surge, we observed hospital cases and ICU, hospital cases greater than 20 and ICU greater than 8 for island-wide hospitalizations and ICUs. We're not seeing that yet, which is good, even though people are going to the hospital and some of them being admitted.
GMHA spokesperson May Habib confirmed the rise in hospital cases, saying, quote, "The ER is still slammed with a high number of non-COVID patients seeking treatment. We are also seeing more people test positive for COVID in the ER, although again, many can go home and quarantine until their bout of illness subsides." Public Health will continue to hold COVID tests at the Tizan sites. However, starting Monday, those that are symptomatic without appointments for drive-ups will be prioritized. If you are a close contact or are there as a precaution, you will have to wait. For those getting tested, Public Health encourages that you download the Simple Report app for a fast and easy way to get results and faster processing. Daniel Perez reporting for Guam's News Network.
He did it during the Delta surge, and he's doing it again in Omicron. Dr. Hoa Wing calling on Adelut to do better, do more, and do something about the high COVID case counts the island has seen the last couple of weeks. Here's more.
The former chair of the Governor's Physicians Advisory Group saying Adelut needs to do something to curb high COVID case counts and what many say is the Omicron surge on island. Dr. Hoa Wen resigned from the PAG last year because of what he said was political interference. The doctor telling KUAM News is the link, the hands-off approach to the pandemic response the administration is employing could have dire consequences.
If we're going to let the positive run the way they are right now, we're going to encounter a lot of problems in the long run. We cannot go on this rate and let it burn out by itself. But I tell you, this is it's not a good idea.
Current PAG Chair Dr. Nathaniel Berg said in a KUAM interview he anticipated the surge would die down by February 1st, but Dr. Wen said the surge could easily stretch 6 to 8 weeks longer, especially since no meaningful restrictions are currently in place.
Put some restriction on the number of gathering should be the control factor to make sure that we don't have a big number of positive in the community And I think if you do that, our people will listen.
Dr. Wen also said long COVID continues to be one of the risks associated with letting the virus run rampant. The condition has been seen in people who have contracted COVID-19.
They recover from the symptom, from the infection fine at the beginning, okay, but when they recover a few weeks or a few months later, they have shortness of breath that progressively getting worse, and that might be a lifelong symptom. We have two pulmonologists on island, okay, Dr. San Augustine at GRMC and Dr. Julie Nagan, and their schedule for long COVID syndrome is about 3 to 4 months out. So we have to worry about this population that get infected.
In the meantime, pending the implementation of restrictions, Dr. Wen says the best we can do is avoid large gatherings and get back to basics. You know the drill. Wash your hands, wear your mask, and watch your distance. For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
Governor Lou Leon Guerrero is standing by her man. She said today that she agrees with her Physicians Advisory Group Chairman Dr. Nathaniel Berg that while the apparent Omicron infection cases are soaring, there's no need for enhanced restrictions at this time. Dr. Berg has also predicted the current surge will wane by the 1st of February.
I'd be happy to make that a reality where, we're done with Omicron in February. But based on the trends, I think we'll start seeing a decline in the positivity case. So as rapidly as you see the increase, we'll also see a rapid decline. And certainly we are not going to be imposing any restrictions. We continue on, as I have said in my messages. I know it's an alarming number, but what we really need to look closely more and use as a guide of the risk is what is our hospital status.
The governor says they are monitoring both GMH and GRMC hospital admissions, and both are at manageable levels, not just for COVID cases, but also non-COVID cases. PAG Chairman Dr. Berg also said that while Omicron is highly contagious, it is less deadly, and there is a realistic hope that it could mark the end to the COVID pandemic. In national news, the Supreme Court has put the brakes on a major part of President Biden's efforts to increase vaccination rates as COVID-19 spreads nationwide. CBS News correspondent Natalie Brown reports from Washington.
The Supreme Court's conservative majority ruled that the Biden administration overstepped its authority by requiring employees at large businesses to get vaccinated or test regularly and wear a mask on the job.
Supreme Court's decision on the OSHA mandate essentially means that in this pandemic, it is up to individual employers to determine whether their workplaces will be safe for employees.
But in a 5-4 vote, the justices did allow the administration to go ahead with a vaccine mandate for millions of healthcare workers at facilities that receive federal money.
I know we're all frustrated as we enter this new year. Omicron variant is causing millions of cases and record hospitalizations.
To help battle the latest COVID spike driven by the highly contagious Omicron variant, President Biden announced his administration will double its purchase of at-home rapid tests to $1 billion. Next week, a website is expected to launch so Americans can sign up to receive tests for free. And additional military medical teams will begin deploying to hospitals in 6 states with staffing shortages from New York to New Mexico.
Our nurses who have been working for weeks on end, and our doctors and our support staff really are at the limit.
While some experts believe this latest surge may be starting to peak, Thursday marked the highest 7-day average for hospitalizations since the pandemic began. In New Jersey, COVID hospitalizations have soared more than 320% just in the last month. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Washington.
Back here at home, when asked if the Supreme Court's ruling will have any effect on local mandates, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero said, quote, "With our local government, it's a little bit different because the Emergency Health Act did give us the authority to mandate vaccinations," end quote. She adds, quote, "It's important to note that the Supreme Court's decision made an exception with the healthcare workers, and healthcare workers are very crucial, but they have allowed healthcare workers the mandate for vaccination," end quote. In other news, 100% of Port Authority of Guam employees are vaccinated against the COVID-19 virus. That's according to Port General Manager Roy Respicio. A vaccine clinic held at the port this morning saw 34 employees receive their booster shots. that helped the agency achieve the 100% vaccination rate. And along with all employees, the clinic also was open to the general public. The port partnered with ADALUP, the Guam National Guard, and the Department of Public Health and Social Services to hold the clinic. And despite all employees being vaccinated, 5 employees were reported positive with the virus this week. The agency announced Thursday that the port's contact tracing team identified all employees as well as close contacts, and testing is being coordinated with public health. In regional news, health officials on Saipan say they're bracing for the arrival of Omicron as more cases are reported on Rota, Tinian, and Saipan. The news comes off as the CNMI has a record high vaccination rate of 97.5%. KUAM Samas Manglotnia reports.
Our 97.5 vaccination rate is exceptional and makes us a global leader.
The NMI's record high vaccination rate comes as more cases are reported on Rota, Tinian, and Saipan.
While we have seen a major decrease in cases since the beginning of this current wave of infections, the total number of cases and hospitalizations still remains too high.
Rota has seen 6 cases, Tinian reports 8 total cases, and on Saipan, over 3,500 cases since the surge began in October.
We are used to seeing 30 to 40 cases a month, not in a day, and for the first time ever, we have cases in Rota. We still need to protect ourselves and our community from COVID-19. While we have no reports of Omicron in the CNMI, this variant is spreading worldwide, and we must be prepared for the new wave of cases.
She reminds everyone the pandemic is not over. Their focus remains on testing, treatment, and vaccinations as prevention measures ease the burden on the island's only hospital. Cases from Rota and Tinian that might need a ventilator will have to be flown to Saipan.
If you are 18 years or older, and now 12 years and older, and you are eligible for that booster shot, I would encourage you to go ahead and get that booster shot.
Tomas Manglotnia for KUAM News.
The couple charged for the murder of former UMATAC Mayor Daniel Sanchez appeared today in Superior Court. KUAM's Tyler Mazzanani has this story.
A motion to dismiss murder defendant Joyner Sked's case was denied, at least for the time being. Defense counsel Terrence Timblin argued that Sked's rights were violated after her clothing was confiscated as evidence. But a pair of shorts her co-defendant Rudy Kanata was wearing at the time of his arrest weren't. An officer with GPD's Criminal Investigation Division that reported to the scene testified on behalf of the defense. He explained that Kanata's shorts were never confiscated because not only were they the only clothes he had on, but it was decided that they had no evidentiary value. He noted that Kanata's arrest was almost 2 days after the victim's body was discovered, and it was likely that he showered and changed clothing. Sked's clothing, however, was turned in the same day as the crime was discovered by a witness, and they appeared soiled.
So normally, if we are going to take some type of clothing, we go back to the family or the residence where if he allows us to access some type of clothing. His residence at the time was the scene, so nobody was allowed in or out of that residence anyway.
Presiding Judge Vernon Perez wasn't convinced that the lack of confiscated shorts were sufficient enough to dismiss Sked's case, but said the matter will be revisited once all evidence is presented to the court before going to trial. Kanata and Sked were indicted for murder as a first-degree felony and aggravated assault as a second-degree felony. The charges against Sked also included a special allegation of the use of a deadly weapon in the commission of a felony. The pair are accused of killing former UMATAC Mayor Daniel Sanchez in April of 2021. The former mayor was found in Kanata's home after police officers were called upon to do a welfare check. Trial is scheduled for January 26th. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Tyler Matanani.
In district court today, 47-year-old Doreen Esther Cataro appeared before Judge Michael Berdalio. Cataro pleaded guilty to the charges of conspiracy to distribute methamphetamine and attempted possession of methamphetamine with intent to distribute and possession of a firearm with an obliterated serial number. She will be sentenced on April 26th of this year. Separate from confident Peter Kafanis, as KUAM News reported, it was back in September of 2021 when both Cataro and Kafanis were indicted on federal drug charges. Once again, we invite you to voice your view across our social media pages with our daily question. Today, we ask, what are your thoughts on the proposal to use government miles to reunite with some homeless people with families off island? We'll share responses on the link tomorrow, Monday morning. Stick around for more news here on Primetime. You're watching KUAM.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
Don't need a work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa, you can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
Guam is truly a majestic place with its sheer natural beauty, wealth of beaches, and culturally rich landscape. Unfortunately, Guam has a real problem with unwanted invasive species. Help us in preventing their introduction and spread. The coconut rhinoceros beetle, the little fire ant, the African snail, Siam weed. These are just a few of the numerous invasives on Guam. Follow proper custom procedures when bringing plants and animals into Guam.
Help protect Guam. Tell your family and friends about invasive species.
To report invasive species, call 475-PEST.
Let us know what's up on our KUAM News WhatsApp tip line at 671-727-0094. Share information about what's happening in your town, on Guam or the CNMI, and what you want us to know. Reach us on WhatsApp at 671-727-0094.
Welcome back. In response to the several fighting incidents on school campuses this week, the Guam Department of Education released a letter this morning to parents reminding students, families, and the community that GDOE has zero tolerance for violence on school grounds. The letter comes after another fight broke out this afternoon at Southern High School, just a couple of days after John F. Kennedy High School fight involving 4 female students. GDOE Interim Public Information Officer Michelle Franquez explained to KUAM News what the letter states.
What we do want to share in terms of GDOE is that we do not believe violence should take place on campus. The superintendent has informed all schools to take quick action whenever there is violence on campus. In the most serious cases, schools can even consider or recommend expulsion after going through the due process, which is the disciplinary action committee. And if the school should recommend expulsion, the superintendent will support the schools. As I said earlier, violence should not be tolerated on school campus.
Meanwhile, the Guam Police Department and the Guam Fire Department responded to the fight that broke out at Southern High School Friday, which happened shortly after 12:05 p.m. The school administration team and employees were able to de-escalate the situation. An investigation is underway. No further details regarding the incident were released as of news time. In other education news here on Guam, good news for the some 3,600 Guam Department of Education students left without internet access briefly. GDOE has found a short-term solution for the families that rely on MiFi devices provided. In the interim, GDOE Deputy Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction, Joe Sanchez, said that GTA TeleGuam will provide temporary internet access during a press briefing on Wednesday.
But the new purchase order was cut today to accommodate the 3,600 users and will be sent to the vendor. Once received, we will get the new SIM cards, and we already have a list, and schools will be provided with these SIM cards so that the users can simply go to the school, pick up their new SIM card, and install it into their device.
As KUAM News reported, the contract with IT&E for MiFi devices, which are wireless routers that act as mobile Wi-Fi hotspots, ended on December 31st of last year. GDOE was working to extend the purchase order. However, that was not possible based on the type of procurement used, according to Sanchez. GDOE's procurement office was tasked to work to find the interim solution. The new purchase order, which is a larger order of MiFi devices, remains under protest. The rise of the Omicron variant in key tourist source markets has led to a big drop in airline seat allocations for Guam. Guam Visitors Bureau Vice President Jerry Perez reported the development during Thursday's GVB board meeting.
Basically, we estimated about 38,000 in lost seats from January to March. This may change if things improve dramatically in February or March. But as of December, this is what we were looking at, the loss of seats. and roughly 14,000 packs.
The vast majority of the expected arrivals are from Korea. Perez presented a chart which showed how the Korean carriers are just adjusting their schedules. He says Omicron's impact is being felt in the travel industry all across Asia and not just in Guam. More help could be on the way for small businesses that have been hit hard by the pandemic. Senators discussed two very similar bills during a public hearing today. The first measure was sponsored by Senator Jim Moylan, the second by Senator Mary Torres.
There's more than one way always to skin a cat, and there's always different approaches that can be taken to address a concern or an issue. What we have presented before us amongst colleagues is exactly that, two options, 17736 and 20236.
Basically, both bills seek to help small businesses by expanding tax relief. Currently, companies who make less than $500,000 a year in revenue pay 3% instead of 5% business privilege tax on their first $250,000 in gross revenue. The measures would increase the threshold to $500,000. The difference is that Moylan's Bill 177 would sunset after 4 years. Torres's Measure 202 would make it permanent. Moylan says while it will likely mean no more than $5,000 in savings for most companies, it could help.
But we just want to give them the window of opportunity to be able to do that and to make a business-friendly environment through which they can be willing to take additional risk and reinvest in their company and hire more individuals. That's how we pay the BBT, and that's how we pay the employee tax that goes into the general fund.
But other senators had concerns about the impact to government resources and complained that no administration representatives showed up to testify. Meanwhile, Senator Joanne Brown summed it up saying it'll be interesting to see which version of these similar bills ultimately goes forward.
Whether it's, 4 years or indefinitely or whatever the case may be, that is the main crux of this particular bill. So I'd be curious to see which bill actually passes, or do we do both and provide them to the governor to pick and choose? And then I'll wonder, I won't be surprised what bill gets passed and what bill gets vetoed.
For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
With the onset of dry season and strong winds that the island has been expecting, Thursday afternoon, several units from the Guam Fire Department with the assistance of the Department of Agriculture Forestry battled a large grass fire in the hills of Santa Rita and Hoggett. Christine Camacho Herring, forestry chief, said that the fire split into two along with the border between the southern villages. According to GFD spokesperson Kevin Riley, no residents needed to be evacuated and the fire was under control a little before 6 p.m. last night. If anyone has any information regarding this fire, you are urged to call 671-864-TOCA. A new group of professionals are entering the workforce. Today, 21 students graduated from the Guam Community College Ship Repair Boot Camp. KUAM's Hannah Devonzo has this report.
The Ship Repair Boot Camp is a 7-week training program. During this time, students had the opportunity to learn different skills before entering the shipyard. President of Guam Community College, Dr. Mary Okada.
For Ship Repair Boot Camp, there's a lot of welding, so we introduce them to a lot of the different types of skills. So welding, they do construction, and they also do some HVAC.
At a time when many island residents are unemployed, trained construction workers are in high demand.
All of the 21 completers have been offered jobs at Guam Shipyard, and so we're hoping that all 21 will accept those job opportunities. And so once they get into the Guam Shipyard, the goal is for each of these students or completers to continue with the apprenticeship program under the Guam Community College.
For those interested in participating in any future boot camps, you can call 671-735-5574 to reach GCC's Continuing Education and Workforce Development Office. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Hannah Devonzo.
Hannah Devonzo, thank you for that report. Stay with us. Coming up next on KUAM News Sports with Dave Delgado. And still to come, your Coach Stone Creamery birthday shoutouts. Keep it here to KUAM.
beautiful.
It is, right, baby?
Dad, isn't that where we usually stop for gas?
It's where we used to stop, but not anymore.
But isn't that the place with the milkshakes?
Okay, all right, let's go.
Good job, kids.
Take your adventure further in the first ever Santa Fe Hybrid.
Well, I didn't get screened because I was just afraid of it.
I procrastinated.
I didn't have any symptoms.
I didn't have insurance.
I didn't want to know.
There were several services that was available to me.
I got a mammogram.
Colonoscopy.
I know in my heart that early detection saved my life.
And I just tell people all the time, please go get screened.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
We get you started with some basketball news as the University of Guam Triton men's basketball team defeated Team Pudding 60-55 in a close battle in the Take It to the South tournament at the Talafofo Gym. Head coach Dana Holmes and assistant coach Mike Cottrell joined the team again on the court to help the short-handed team of 5 players. The Tritons are now 1-1 for the tournament, while Team Pudding was eliminated with a 0-2 record. UOG will play in another elimination game against Team Foe at 7 p.m. next Tuesday. Fans can tune in on the Triton Athletics YouTube channel the following day to catch a recording of the game. St. Paul's Kevin Tahazi was getting buckets. He put up 8 points for the Warriors in their win over the Islanders. EJ Cruz was getting buckets. He put up 10 points, corner 3. Yep, you already know. Xander Duenas pull up jumper money. Duenas finished the game with 11 points. Josiah Quintanilla was all about getting buckets. Running on the break, layup, check. Creating off the dribble, check. Hit him with the 1-2. Heat check from the line, yes sir. Quintanilla finished with the game-high 31 points. If you have buckets that you want to get on the show, send them to KUAM News' Instagram page or email them to me at sho@kuam.com. Now for some programming news. Sunday, January 16th at 7:30 in the morning on KUAM TV 8, NBC Sunday Night Football NFL Wildcard Playoff game between the Las Vegas Raiders at Cincinnati Bengals. Then at 11 in the morning, switch the channel over to KUAM TV 11, NFL on CBS, AFC wildcard matchup, New England Patriots at Buffalo Bills. Monday, January 17th, 7:30 in the morning, KUAM TV 11, NFL on CBS, NFC wildcard matchup between the San Francisco 49ers and Dallas Cowboys. Then on Monday, January 17th, at 11:15 in the morning, KUAM TV 8, more Sunday Night Football for you. Pittsburgh Steelers at Kansas City Chiefs.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Need a new phone? Trade in now and get up to $500 off our best 5G devices. Trade in your older phone in any condition and step up to better savings and speeds only our 5G network can provide. Check out our website and catch up on the best mobile experience. Trade in now. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
And before we close out the news tonight, our latest round of the birthday shoutouts from the Coatstone Creamery Birthday Club.
It's the 14th of January, boys and girls, so let's all say happy birthday number 60 to Vincent Singh, otherwise known as Ben. To Dad and Pops, we are sending you our very best birthday wishes. Hayden J celebrates birthday number 6 this year, and we hope you have an amazing day today. Say a very proud mommy and daddy and Boboy and your 2 sisters, who they say we love you to the moon and back. Birthday number 14 is always a special time, and that is exactly what Amelia Hope Sablan is celebrating today. To our beautiful grand princess Amelia, we love you to the moon and back, say Papa Roki and Grandma. Happy birthday number 18 to Anaya Leia Ungakta from your loving family, Grandpa, Mom and Dad, John Roy, and Jen. Happy birthday also to Marvin Sweeney, who blows out the candles this year. So Marvin, we hope you have a fantastic day. And lastly, but certainly not leastly, happy birthday number 9 to Augie. Your family says they're very proud of you and they're wishing you all the best.
Remember, you can be a part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club by registering online at KUAM.com. Now be sure to include with your photo your name and birth date. And it's that time of the week where we announce the winner of a yummy Cold Stone Creamery cake.
Hey, Theo Jude, we still congratulate you for having a birthday this week on January 11th. And you know what? You are this week's winner. So you know what? We're going to reach out to your family and let all of you know when you can safely and happily pick up your prize, which is a delicious ice cream cake from Cold Stone Creamery. Happy birthday, Theo, once again, and please stay safe.
That's going to do it for us here on Primetime. Guahusi Isaiah Uggan. Thank you for watching, and good night, Marianas.
The One Micronesia podcast is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Hafide, Mogathin. In this case, we say Yakwe. We go all the way to the east side of Micronesia to honestly just sit down and chat with these young Marshallese musicians, singers, and just, I saw the video come out, a Voices Rising, Instagram put it out, and I was just hooked. And I think what got me was the harmony, and find out later on that the song, the meaning behind it was way more important than, the amazing harmony itself. So I wanted to reach out and talk to these 2 young Marshallese performers and just to find out, how it all started for them and stuff like that. So with me on the show today, I do have Jobud Silk and Carney Ramers all the way out into the Marshall Islands. Guys, thank you so much and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Yahweh.
Yahweh. Let's start. And then I'm gonna go, find out, how it all started for you guys. So I guess we'll start with Jobud. Tell us more about you.
My name is Jobud Silk. I attend the College of the Marshall Islands studying liberal arts. I love to sing. I really feel like because our culture is oral and our traditions and our history have been passed down through chants or music, feel like it has always been, in my blood to sing or perform.
Wow, awesome. And then you, Carney, tell us more about you.
Okay, hello everyone. Yahweh. My name is Carney Ramers. I am 19 years old. I attend College of the Marshall Islands, liberal arts major. And yeah, I feel like what Jabba said basically was everything that I was about to explain about how I feel about music and me and my family. It's like literally a part of our culture.
Yeah.
So, let's hear it for both of you. How did it all start for you guys? When did you guys start singing? And like we talked about it, something being passed down from generation. So when did you guys start performing?
For me, I've been able to sing like ever since I was a little girl. Like I've seen my family do it, family events, every time. Everybody's always singing, dancing. There's always something. But then I guess I started performing during the plays that were happening here by the Youth Bridge Global. Yeah, I think that's when I started getting into performing.
And for you,
yeah, it's the same for me too. Yeah, growing up, listening to like our family singing in church or at parties or funerals.
Church.
Especially church.
Yeah, especially right.
Yeah, the harmony always like mesmerized me, and that was always my favorite part about listening to music. And then I just kind of picked it up, or like self-taught myself how to like harmonize. But then I never really got into performing until I think it was with the plays too. Oh no, it was way before that. It was during the climate change arts seminar with Kathy and Milang under Chojigum. And that's where we first wrote the song. The bell song.
Wow. Okay, we're gonna get to that in just a little bit, because that song, like I said, is such a beautiful song itself, but at the same time, the message behind it is way bigger. So we're gonna talk about that song a little bit. So I'm